Today, we're stepping into the past, into a time when gardens weren't filled with trendy superfoods from across the world. One of those plants is Good King Henry. It's a name that sounds almost royal, doesn't it? Yet it grows quietly, close to the earth, asking for very little and giving so much in return. It's a living piece of history, a forgotten superfood of the old cottage gardens. And today, we're going to bring its story back into the light. So, what exactly is Good King Henry? If you've never heard of it, you're not alone. This plant is a perennial green, which means it comes back every single year without needing to be replanted. It was once a staple in European cottage gardens, long before spinach became the go-to leafy green. In fact, it filled that exact role, earning it nicknames like poor man's asparagus and wild spinach. Every single part of this plant has a purpose. The young leaves can be cooked just like spinach, perfect for wilting into a warm dish. The tender young shoots that pop up in the spring can be harvested and prepared just like asparagus, steamed and drizzled with a little butter or olive oil. Even the tiny black seeds can be collected, dried, and used as a grain substitute, ground into a flour. It's not just a plant. It's an entire, multi-use food source, a relic of a time when people made the most of everything that grew around them. It's a piece of history tucked away in our own backyards. Let's journey back to the old world for a moment. Long before modern agriculture streamlined what we grow, creating vast fields of single crops, plants like Good King Henry were valued for something completely different: their resilience. This plant thrived in the small, humble gardens near cottages, growing alongside pathways and in forgotten corners. These were the places where people relied entirely on what they could grow themselves to feed their families. And unlike so many of our modern crops, it didn't need to be sown from seed every spring. Once you established a patch of Good King Henry, it would return, season after season, like an old friend who never forgets the way home. This reliability was its superpower. It was a plant you could count on, a steady presence in an uncertain world. It represents a different way of gardening, one that works in partnership with nature's cycles rather than trying to control them. Beneath its modest, arrow-shaped leaves lies a surprisingly nourishing profile. This isn't just a historical curiosity. It's a genuine powerhouse of nutrition. It also contains important minerals like iron and calcium. Traditionally, it wasn't seen as a medicine but as a strengthening food. It was something to sustain the body through long days of hard work, and to nourish people through the changing seasons, especially after a long winter when fresh greens were scarce. It's not flashy, it's not exotic. It doesn't come with a big marketing campaign. It's just steady, reliable nourishment grown from the earth for the people. It's the kind of deep, simple nutrition our ancestors understood intimately. Now, as with many powerful plants, it's important to offer a note of caution. Like spinach, chard, and rhubarb, Good King Henry contains oxalic acid. This means a few things. First, it should always be cooked before eating. Cooking helps to break down the oxalic acid, making the nutrients more available and the plant easier to digest. Second, it's best enjoyed in moderation as part of a varied diet, just like any other food. Or rheumatoid arthritis should be particularly cautious and probably avoid it, as oxalates can sometimes contribute to these conditions. So, what if you're looking to add something truly unique and historical to your garden? Good King Henry is a quiet treasure waiting to be rediscovered. Growing it is a lesson in patience. To get started, you'll want to plant it in a spot that gets partial to full sun. For the first year, maybe even two, it will focus on growing its deep root system. You might not get much of a harvest at first, but be patient. It's not a fast plant. It doesn't rush. But in a world that moves so quickly, there's something incredibly grounding about a plant that takes its time. And once it is established, it will reward your patience by returning year after year, providing you with early spring greens and shoots with very little effort. It's a wonderful project for a patient gardener who loves history. This leads to a fascinating question. If this plant is so resilient and useful, why was it forgotten? Why don't we see Good King Henry in every grocery store today? The answer lies in the way our food system has evolved. Modern agriculture overwhelmingly favors crops that are fast-growing, uniform in size and shape, and easy to harvest mechanically and transport over long distances. Think about a head of iceberg lettuce. They all look the same. Good King Henry doesn't quite fit that mold. It grows a bit more wild and uneven. It's slower to establish. It requires a more hands-on, gentle harvest. It's more rooted in the traditions of home gardening than in the demands of mass production. And so, as our food system prioritized speed and scale, this humble plant quietly faded from common use, replaced by greens that were easier to commercialize. It became a whisper, a memory in old gardening books. Maybe they're just waiting in the quiet corners of history, waiting to be remembered. More intentional way of living and eating. Bringing a plant like Good King Henry into your garden is more than just growing food. It's cultivating a piece of history. It's an act of preservation, a nod to the self-sufficiency of our ancestors. It's a gentle rebellion against a food system that has become too fast, too uniform, and too disconnected from the earth. If you enjoyed rediscovering this forgotten plant with me today, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even share it with a friend who loves gardening or history. And I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you ever heard of Good King Henry before watching this? Or better yet, would you ever try growing this historical superfood yourself? Until next time, stay rooted, stay curious, and keep growing.